Okay, let's look at some math stoichiometry problems now. Okay, again, we're going to need our cheat sheet. Let's get that out. And we already know these are all mass to mass. Okay, what do we measure mass in? Grams. Okay, so grams to grams. That's what we have it set up on our cheat sheet. And so if we go down to grams, here it is right here. And we're going to practice. Notice it takes how many train tracks to get there? 1, 2, 3 train tracks. Okay, so you can go ahead and set up your train tracks here on number 1. And I know I'm going to be 1, 2, 3 train tracks out there. Okay, so we're going to practice assigning x and y again. Assign an x for the given and a y for the want. Okay, so let's read our problem. How many grams of hydrochloric acid will react with 200 grams of magnesium hydroxide? So what do we know? We know that we have 200 grams of magnesium hydroxide. So I'm going to go to my reaction up here and put an X above magnesium hydroxide. What I want to know, how many grams of hydrochloric acid? So I'm going to go to my hydrochloric acid and put a Y. Okay, let's look at our cheat sheet. And it says we're going to start with grams of X. Okay, so grams of X. So what do we know? We've got 200 grams of this magnesium hydroxide, right? And we learned when we did mole-to-mole problems, what needs to go diagonal? Grams of magnesium hydroxide. Okay, because I need that to cancel out. Where am I going to get grams of magnesium hydroxide? Well, let's go to the cheat sheet right here, and it says I'm going to do a mole conversion, okay? How do I going to get to moles of magnesium hydroxide? Well, I'm going to use 1 mole over my molar mass of X. So I've got 1 mole on top, and I'm going to need the molar mass of this right here. So let's just do it out here, and let's break that apart, and let's get the molar mass real quick. Okay, so we've got 1 magnesium atom, 2 oxygen atoms, 2 hydrogen atoms. And again, we're going to multiply these by our atomic weights on our periodic table. So the atomic weight of magnesium is what? 24. 1 times 24. We know oxygen 16 and hydrogen's 1. So let's do our math. I've got 24 plus 32 plus 2. Okay, I'm going to add all that up. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 58. So I've got 58 grams of magnesium hydroxide. Okay, that's the molar mass of this compound here. All right, let's go to our next train track. So I need to get moles of X to convert to moles of hydrochloric acid. Okay. Now, how am I going to get my mole ratio again? Well, let's go here. It says take the coefficient in front of your Y over the coefficient in front of your X. All right, so coefficient in front of Y is 2. There's nothing in front of there, so that's that understood 1. Okay. And then we need to get moles of hydrochloric acid into grams of hydrochloric acid. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Well, let's look at the last train track here. It says take the molar mass of Y over 1 mole. Okay, so molar mass of Y. So we've got HCl. I've got 1 of each. Hydrogen, molar mass or atomic weight's 1. Chlorine's is 35. So 1 and 35, so we get 36 grams. So we're going to convert this to grams. All right, so here we go. We've got our setup. Now that we've plugged all our numbers in, what do? We calculate by multiplying across the top, multiplying across the bottom, and dividing the top answer by the bottom answer. So grab a calculator. I'm going to use one of these old calculators. So if you're at home, you can just use an old calculator. Use your phone. We don't need anything special for this. Okay, so let's multiply across the top. So what do we got? 200 times 1 times 2 times 36. So let's do that. 200 times 1 times 2 times 36. All right, and then let's hit enter. What do we get? We get 14,400 on the top. And then we're going to multiply, oh, I forgot to put a 1 there. Okay, we're going to multiply across the bottom. 58 times 1 is 58. Okay, now we need to divide those two numbers. So we've got 14,400 divided by 58, and we get this long number. We see that there, 248, and we're going to round this off to 2 places after our decimal, 0.28. So 248.28 grams of what? Well, let's go back. Let's look, see what cancels out. Grams of magnesium hydroxide cancels. This was moles of magnesium hydroxide, so that cancels. Moles of hydrochloric acid cancel. And what are we left with? Grams of hydrochloric acid. There is your answer. Okay, so for the next one, again, pick out X and Y and solve. So what do we know on this one? We've got 140 grams of magnesium carbonate. And again, we want to know how many grams of hydrochloric acid. All right, set up your train tracks and solve. Let me know if you have any questions.